Welcome back, guys. Back in downtown, historic downtown Punta Gorda again today. And as most of you know by now, the condo crisis is getting out of control. It's escalating here in Southwest Florida, across the entire state, really. We can't seem to get a break in my area, but the inventory has risen statewide. Prices, in my opinion, are almost in free fall at this point. There's just so many being listed and so many price cuts and so many obstacles to selling these things right now. I'll give you an example here in Charlotte County. Our average sales price for condos in December, which is not a great month for sales by any means. Average sales price of a condo here was $427,000 in March. That went down to $348,000. And I know what you guys are saying, you know, average sales price, not a great indicator. Median's down as well. Median was $290,000 in December. $270,000 in March. So taking a pretty good clip there as well. And I just foresee this continuing to happen. We have some complexes around here that have recently just lost their insurance. They've become uninsurable. And HOA fees have gone well over $1,000 in some areas here, which really makes it hard to sell a condo that doesn't have water access. It's not necessarily in a great location with, proximity to everything around it. And the HOA is still $1,100 because they consider it such a high risk now. Makes it tough to move those and get the values they were getting 2 years ago. And even though we had a strong March, we still have double the amount of listings for condos that we had on the market here in Charlotte County, most of Southwest Florida, than we did last year. The state is catching up to that. The state, as of February, almost had double the amount of condo listings as well. And when you're looking at purchasing one of these, you have to consider these assessments coming up. I mean, I have friends in condos here that got $20,000 assessments just for their hurricane deductible. That's not even to fix the rest of the stuff that's wrong, especially if you have the new laws coming into place where they have to fully fund their reserves. They have to conduct a reserve study. They've got to do a structural study. So you can really watch this stuff add up, even if you were to buy my friend's condo, for instance. Okay, they'll say, the $20,000 assessment has already been paid. That doesn't mean there's not more coming. And honestly, it doesn't mean there's not a lot more coming. I have a friend who is looking on the East Coast for a condo, and I mean, they have a $43,000 assessment on this thing coming up. So they're considering negotiating that with the seller to pay that at closing, but that doesn't clear the table, guys. You need to know if you can find out what's coming up, what still has to be done. Sometimes you can't, unfortunately. And that is why so many people are choosing not to take this risk right now on these properties. These were flying off the shelves, actually viewed as pretty good investments. And oh boy, since I'm walking past this house, guys, I showed this home a few months ago when it first came on the market. I'm going to pull it up and take a look at exactly what's going on, because another thing I want to get into is that we're still seeing crazy price drops. So I'm betting this one at this point has probably had a few. We'll take a look. All right, guys, so I was actually right on the money. This listed 90 days ago, this house, and some of you may remember this from the video I showed it in, but it just had a $24,000 price cut. It's sitting at $775,000. But it started in January at $867,000, so a $92,000 price drop right now, guys. And when I tell you this is what's going on in the market, this isn't even one of the most drastic ones. They've done it slow, but yeah, they're down $92,000 over the past 3 months, which makes me question, where is the bottom for this property? Because that's a very drastic drop. We're talking over 10% already, and does not look like they're getting any biters. So where does it end? People ask me, where does this end? And this is why it's so hard for me to tell. Cool house. I actually think they redid the pictures, to be honest with you. This is not what it looked like previously. No, these are new photos. So price drops, new photos, unfortunately still not getting it done. I'll keep an eye on it if I walk past it again. But really cool place. I've always said this pool is awesome too. They added this pool, the pavers around the pool, I believe, and it's a pretty cool little oasis back there. But it's just not at the right price, I guess. Now, you might assume that people are moving to newer built condos to avoid some of this, and that is a way to do it. But I'll tell you, even around here, guys, even our new builds are not moving They don't seem to be moving up and down the Southwest Florida coast either, because I get a lot of emails from builders for condos and townhomes, and they are offering some insane incentives. I told you guys they're throwing out $10,000 commissions. Well, now they're throwing out $20,000 commissions, guys. That's on top of the regular percentage rate. So if I was to sell you one of these condos, they're not expensive. They're $300,000 to $400,000. Now, let me not say that's not expensive, but they're not $800,000 to $900,000 condos. So you start to think about the regular commission on something like that could be $6,000 to $9,000, and they're giving you a $20,000 bonus, ostensibly hitting me with a $27,000 check. Anything to avoid lowering the price. But I understand that they don't want to destroy the comps, but the commission incentives are absolutely insane. Now, can I convince you to buy a condo you don't want? I don't know, I can't. I don't think I'm that good. I just kind of show people, tell them what I think, help them make decisions. But $26,000, $30,000 commission on a $300,000 condo, guys. Just drop it to $270,000 and sell the damn thing. You know, I guess the hope is, okay, we'll get a couple of people to bite at that. We won't have to lower our comps. And then the next person coming along will see, oh, this person paid $300 anyway. And it's the shadow price drops that I'm going to get into here as well. So things like that, and other people have mentioned it, you don't see the bonus incentives going on behind the scenes on these things. So not only are they paying commissions, they're still on top of that, giving you a rate buy down, giving you some concessions to upgrade things. When you start doing the math, okay, you pay the agent $300,000 sale. You give the buyers $20,000 towards closing costs. You buy their rate down, or you upgrade their kitchen, give them $10,000 in incentives. We're really at 250 condos. But, you know, to me, I'd just rather sell them at 250. That's my opinion. But that's some of the kind of crazy stuff that is going on. Single family, a lot more evident. I mean, I've got a buddy listed a house $668 not 4 months ago. It's down to $499, guys. These are the massive price drops that are still happening here. And I gotta say, I don't know where it ends at this point. I was hoping that I'd have some sort of clearer explanation around now, but then here we go with the rates again. Anytime we go over 7% here, we get hit pretty hard. And everyone who has been holding on to this fallacy that there's gonna be 6 rate drops this year. So, I mean, we're barely looking at 1 now, guys. The whole date the rate, marry the house thing, I have said from day one, is a bunch of garbage. I hate that phrase. I hate the way they use it. If it happens, great. I hope you can take advantage of it. I hope if you buy a house at 7% interest, they drop rates in 2 years and you can refinance so you're more comfortable. That would be great for everybody. I don't know, but we're almost 2 years out from the initial rate hikes when people bought houses they couldn't afford because they assumed by now there would be rate drops. And look at this, the inflation is still going crazy. Gold is like $2,400. Stock market's still raging. So, and everyone's paying more for everything. There's no way that they're gonna be able to bring rates down. I mean, even with the election, guys, I always say, if you're gonna buy and you're gonna leverage, make sure you're comfortable with that payment for a long time right now. And I've said that continuously over the past year, and people have called me an idiot and said, you're crazy. Oh, these things are coming down. Well, take a look around, guys. They are now coming out and saying that this inflation is costing the average household an extra $1,000 a month. That's $12,000 a year. Not too long ago, they were saying it was $7,000 a year. Not even a year ago, because I really haven't been doing this for a year, and I reported on 7,000. So it went from 7,000 to 12,000. And they tell you inflation is 3.2, 3.4%. Come on, man. You know, so the rate cut speeches and the rate cut rallying, and I understand my industry's concern about it. Yeah, sales are tough. Selling real estate's tough right now. But if you're rooting for rate drops, you're just asking for disaster at this point. So trending back on topic here, another thing that's happening, not only price drops, inventory build up again, that I haven't seen in a long time, is seller financing is getting offered and getting accepted. So sellers are holding the notes. Actually, this is another thing that's happening. as you guys saw there, that's another emerging trend. It's for sale, for rent simultaneously, neither getting filled. So, I mean, it's kind of things are looking strange right now, especially if you're in the position sitting there wondering, why does nobody want to buy my house? Why does nobody want to rent my house? But, you know, it's always price. It's always price, guys. A lot of people get hung up on these rates, you know, and I'll talk to people, oh, I paid 7, I paid 9. And I tell them, I'll pay 12% rates if I could buy your house for what you bought it for. Oh, no. My house is worth way more. Exactly. We had a strong cash month, but that's not a surprise, especially when gold is surging now and people are looking at this inflation. And what I think is they're probably moving to hard assets. Some of that is real estate because they have absolutely no idea what's going to go on with our currency. And I completely understand that. It's just madness. Everything keeps going up. And it's like every month, it's, you know, we get more jobs reports, we get more little increases in inflation, but everyone's bills are going through the roof. At this point, things don't look great, just across the board. I don't know what the answer is. I've proposed a couple of solutions for here in Florida. Obviously, the insurance getting sorted out would help quite a bit, but you can mediate a lot of that, again, if you go towards a newer build, which is, and even your condo issues, you can mediate a lot of that if you go towards a newer build, but they've got such a bad rap that people don't even want to touch the new builds. They're having a lot of trouble selling them. And the only real way to fix it, the only way to fix $1,000 HOA on a condo is price, guys. That condo has got to be such a great price. It's almost, I hate to say this because for people who own this, is going to upset them. It's almost got to be priced like a trailer, because you can get trailers at great prices and their lot rent is $1,000 a month. So, you know, you can get a $40,000, $50,000 trailer, but you're going to pay $1,000 lot rent. And that's basically what some of these condo complexes are going to turn into, in my opinion. On these condos, guys, watch what is going on around the community. Something I generally advise is if you're going to consider purchasing in a condo association, go on Facebook if you have it, or go to their website, see what the discussions are like in there, see how people feel about the community. Now, you're probably only going to get complainers. That's mostly how that works, unfortunately, but you can see at least the bad. You know, they'll be in there telling you who's doing what wrong, what they think needs to change. Up to you to decide at that point if you want to proceed with looking in that area. But little telltale signs, it's not hard to see things. I mentioned a few videos back, we've got a condo complex in here that has like 20 listings in it right now. And generally they hover around 4 to 5. So now they've got 20. I'm not in that condo complex. I have not dug into it because I don't have any customers interested in it and I don't have listings in it. But should I will dive into it because something's going on. Something is going on to cause 20 simultaneous sales from owners. That's, you know, like you can look at it like the animals are running, guys. They know something we don't know. So just look at stuff like that. Another condo complex I unfortunately did have listings in. We had a bunch of listings hit the market. Well, 2 weeks before I listed this condo, they passed a rule that you can no longer rent to anyone until you've owned the condo for 2 years. Well, there you go. There goes all our investors. It's gone. Cash deals in there for investment are pretty much now dead. It's only going to be people who want to use it as a retreat or people who are going to rent it seasonally 2 years from now. It's really things like that you have to watch that can really hurt values. Another thing, a lot of condos have gone up in another condo complex, and I know that they just got rezoned into a flood zone. They're not going to carry flood, and the condo association can make the decision to do that. What that means, nobody can get a mortgage in there anymore. Anybody who has a mortgage in there might be facing some issues because the mortgage company wants the whole association to have flood coverage. And when they say no, and you've got a mortgage with them, well, I've never actually seen the repercussions of that, guys, so I couldn't even, hypothetical, doesn't seem good. But a gentleman I'm working with, you know, he has a condo in there and he said, this is going to kill my value, isn't it? And I said, well, generally condo sales are 50% cash anyway. He goes, but you're taking out, so you're telling me you're taking out 50% of the potential buyers because they can't get a mortgage in here. I said, unfortunately, yes. And he goes, well then, What do you think that's going to do to my value, Ben? So these are all different things to look at. Even if you're going to purchase in some place like this, if you're going to come in and you're going to buy cash and you know that it's not your forever place, or you're looking with the intent to rent, you have to check these things out and dig deeper. Swinging back on the insurance problems, I have a customer here, very, very savvy guy, smart dude, does a lot of his due diligence up front, I gotta say. Every house he's looking at, he's calling the insurance companies. He's saying, hey, what's the estimates on this? Now, obviously, you need to get a full inspection, 4-point wind mitigation to get a very accurate quote, but they can give you some kind of idea. And I encourage everyone, if you're purchasing in a flood zone, or really, if you're purchasing anywhere, before you make the offer, just call your insurance provider and say, hey, what do you think I'm looking at? Or get a couple quotes. There's no rush. There's no bidding wars here right now, guys. Not in Southwest Florida, at least. You may have to face that in other areas. If you can, even before you make the offer, shoot out a quote. And I mean, these houses are on the water down in Gulf Cove here, mostly off the Myakka River. And those are older built houses, unfortunately. They're not really built, a lot of them are pre-1990s, and that's where I'm starting to see where you get the real problems is before the 90s here. And I mean, on some of these houses, the combined insurance quotes are $10,000. $13,000 on one that was on stilts, they were telling me. And that surprised me because it's on stilts, but you know, they consider no foundation there. They don't know what's gonna go on. So these are things that you have to look out for and hopefully will get resolved here. We have 8 new insurers coming in the state. Someone mentioned in my comments it was 11. I've only heard of 8. And I don't think that's going to alleviate the prices. I think at the best case scenario now for insurance, you can probably consider what you're paying, and if it doesn't go up, that's going to be the solution. I think they're just gonna try to stabilize the market, but I don't think you're gonna be able to insure 20, 30-year-old houses again for $1,500 a year. I just don't think it's gonna happen. And I'm gonna close it out on that one, guys. So if you like this video, give me a like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.